TV's #1 new comedy, Young Sheldon, on CBS Thursday after The Big Bang Theory. Can you believe this? For Sergio Justin Thomas, the PGA champion.
It's a special holiday edition, Week 16 in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, there's LaShawn McCoy. A couple weeks ago, he went for 15 carries, 93 yards against the New England Patriots. He needs a big day today for them to win this game.
There's Tom Brady. Last time they played Buffalo 3 weeks ago, he was sacked 3 times, hit 5 times, got to avoid the touchdown. He got #1 seed.
And there's Alex Smith. He was almost Alex Trebek because the team was in jeopardy, but they controlled their own destiny. 25 CDs, 5 interceptions. We'll see what happens today versus Miami.
Hey, there's the big guy at 6'2", 320. You know, I'll tell you what he's doing. He's trying to figure out what a catch is like everybody else is in the NFL these days. Usually has a big day on this day. Look forward to that.
I don't want to get these 2 touchdowns.
Stand by the right. Ready, one. Take one. So everybody ready for that? Take one. 3, 2, 1.
And hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I'm James Brown. We have a festive lineup full of pivotal matchups with playoff implications coming your way right here on CBS. Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski continue to dominate defenses across the NFL land, and the Patriots 1-2 punch, hoping to knock the Bills off their path towards the playoffs when they face off in Foxborough. You know, it looks as if the Chiefs have figured things out after their midseason swoon, and today Alex Smith and company will try to stay atop the AFC West when the Dolphins come to town. No 2 quarterbacks have been hotter this December than Blake Bortles and Jimmy Garoppolo. They'll meet this afternoon at CBS as the Jags try to stay in the hunt for one of the AFC's top 2 seeds. Baltimore's win yesterday moved them into the AFC playoff picture as the wild card and the #5 seed. New England, the top seed, and controls its own destiny for home field throughout the playoffs. Pittsburgh fighting for the 2 seed and the first round bye. Jacksonville can clinch the South with a win or a Tennessee loss. Kansas City can claim the West with the win today. Tennessee, by the way, is the other wild card. Meanwhile, in the NFC, Minnesota, with its win over Green Bay last night, remains the 2 seed and in play for a first round bye. Top seed Philadelphia will clinch home field throughout the playoffs with the win tomorrow night. The Rams claim the West crown with the win or a Seattle loss. And the winner of today's New Orleans-Atlanta game clinches a playoff berth. Carolina holds the other wild card and controls its own postseason destiny. All that and more comes your way on NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines, as we welcome you inside Studio 43. I'm joined at the desk by our so-called jolly football experts. They will be not so jolly Phil Simms and the jolly coach Nate and Boomer. Of course, Utah. Shut up. Hey, that's a loving compliment for you, partner. Anyway, the Ravens held on to beat the Colts on Saturday. They're in control of their playoff destiny.
You know, they really are. And I think what's going to happen here today is that everything in the NFC revolves around the NFC South, right, guys? You got to look at Carolina. They win, they're in. The winner of the Atlanta-New Orleans game gets in. Over the AFC, it's really about, you know, can the Chargers get to 9-7? Can Tennessee win one of their final 2 games? And you take a look at these schedules, like how they match up. Looks like Baltimore is going to get in because I do believe they'll beat the Bengals next week. They'll get to 10-6. It's going to be a wild finish in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was always told by my coaches in December, you got to play the right way at the right time, and that's what the Ravens did. We have some examples of that. Check this out. Special teams. This is huge because if you can play that X factor football, which is often the 10 special teams like you saw. But here it is. You got to make a stop. Frank Gore, the soon-to-be Hall of Famer down the line. He's putting him in position. Jacoby Brissett trying to make a play on the field. Down, Maurice Kennedy, he makes the play, gets the pass breakup. And this is why they're playing special, Coach. At the right time, they can run the ball. They play great defense, special teams, and coming up big in big moments.
You talk about they've won 5 of their last 6, and the one loss they had was a walk-off field goal by the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Like you said, they got a running game with Alex Collins. They got a defensive leads the league in takeaways. And Joe Flacco right here, he's been playing his best football. He's 10-5 in the postseason. Remember, with Joe Flacco in Baltimore, they are 2-2 in the playoffs in New England. They've got playoff experience, Phil, playing hard at the right time. And you know what? The running game and defense, they travel well. Right now.
But you know, keep excited.
Hey, listen, I'm not being the Grinch, but settle down there, fellas. You know, let's think about what the Baltimore Ravens have done this year. They're 0-5 against potential playoff teams. So that's one thing. And then you talk about Joe Flacco, he is playing well. 29 completions last night for 237 yards. No explosive plays on the offensive side. And on the defensive side, it's really the same thing. Indianapolis gives up sacks like Booker eats candy bars. I mean, they just, so, and they could not get pressure on Jacoby Brissett almost all night long. I think that's a problem.
Yes, you did.
How you doing?
That's it. I'm feeling good, man.
Okay. Holiday spirit. Let's kick things off on our early game matchups on the NFL today. Right now, Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski. That's one of the most potent combos in the league. And who knows better about the quarterback-tight end connection than our own Tony Romo, who is in Foxborough. By the way, he completed 649 passes to his favorite target. That will be Jason Witten. So what makes the Brady-Gronk combo so special, Tony?
Well, first off, they're both unique talent, at their position. They're really, really just good. And there's the recognition of defenses and understanding of where to go with the ball. I think Gronkowski is a matchup nightmare. He can line up outside the numbers. He lines up inside. And really, you guys just put the graphic up. The last two games, he's been really unguardable. These teams have tried to play him man-to-man. And that's the biggest matchup for the New England Patriots on every possession. If Tom sees him one-on-one, the ball's going to Gronk. It's what you do when you have a great receiver on the outside. They do the same thing with a tight end. And Jason Witten, for me, any big crucial moment, he was getting the football on 3rd and 5 to move the chains because I knew where he would be versus that coverage all the time. Gronk, he does the same thing, and Tom trusts him.
Hey, Tony, before you leave, any suggestions for how you deal with wild teammates? My guys here in the studio, what would your suggestion be?
First thing I would look for just replacing all of them. And if that didn't work, then I would probably just go ahead and accept that they're probably your best friends and enjoy it.
I've got some best friends. Hey, Tony, thank you so very much. We're looking forward to your call of the game. All right, so there's an awful lot on the line for the playoff-hungry Bills in this match.
Hell, you talk about a lot on the line. How about Tyrod Taylor? Hell, they got the worst passing offense in football due to the numbers. Now, they also played one game in a blizzard, so I understand that had a negative impact on those numbers. But this young man right there, it's always a referendum for him as to whether or not he can lead his team into the playoffs. You want to be the big-time quarterback for the Bills, you got to win a game like this on the road.
Yeah, but when we talk about leading your team in the playoffs, how about Tom Brady, though? Check out these numbers. First 11 games, 26 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Last 3 games, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 4 interceptions over the last 3 games. And keep in mind, Boom, you talked about this when we were off camera. No Burkhead, no James Wright. Gillisley will be active in this game. But if we're talking about that Achilles a little bit, John, could that be the problem? Tom Brady having some inconsistencies with throwing the ball. But still, 27 wins up against Buffalo. That's most against any opponent in NFL history. So you got to give the advantage to the Patriots.
No question about this. The Chiefs are looking to keep their momentum rolling towards an AFC West title as they take on the Dolphins.
And that happens today, JB, if they can beat the Miami Dolphins at home, which means nothing at stake if they go to Denver next week and maybe rest some players. But they've gotten back to winning 2 games in a row. That man right there, Alex Smith, is playing well. But Kareem Hunt has been rushing well. And Tyreek Hill right there has been 9 receptions and 1 touchdown in these 2 games that they've won in a row. And Marcus Peters, the defense the last 2 weeks, 7 takeaways and only given up 28 points. So right now, I would say the Kansas City Chiefs look like the Kansas City Chiefs earlier in the season are playing hot at the right time of year.
So everything is postseason focused, and that means the Chargers are another team in need of wins to keep their postseason hopes alive.
Well, there's Phillip Rivers. He got some bad news today. His left tackle, Russell Okung, is out. Why is that important? Well, he needs protection and time to throw it down the field. Didn't get it against the Kansas City Chiefs, and what happened? He threw 3 interceptions. His best players, of course, with 3 wide receivers. We'll see. The Jets rush the passer pretty well when they're at home. And on the other side, Bryce Petty making the second start for the foul against the New Orleans Saints last week. And on the Jets defense, 2 guys that I have to mention. Demario Davis, Darren Lee, 2 linebackers. Between the 2 of them, over 200 tackles this year and 8 sacks. Really doing a great job.
Not having a key blocker reminds me of the Boomer Esiason story when one of his backup linemen. Mr. Esiason said, I can't block. That's right. Hey, folks, for more on what's happening around the league, we welcome in our NFL Today Insider. That will be Jason Lockenfor. Jimmy GQ has a big payday coming.
That he does, JB. You can start calling him the $25 million man. That's what Garoppolo will make on the franchise tag or per year on a long-term deal. The 49ers baffled many around the league by not trying to sign him as soon as they acquired him. Now they're prepared to tag him, which they almost certainly will have to do. The Vikings are in a similar spot with Case Keenum. Minnesota has no QBs under contract for 2018. Some rival GMs believe the Vikings will place the transition tag on Keenum, who could approach $20 million a year on a short-term deal. The Steelers' release of all-time sack leader James Harrison could be an early Christmas present to other teams. Baltimore and New England are among the clubs considering claiming the pass rusher, league sources said. And the sale of the Panthers should be complete prior to the start of next season. The sale price will likely reach $2 billion, but not $2.5 billion, as some are suggesting. Sources say Jerry Richardson, who assumed that the NFL's investigation would stop when he sold the team. Well, JB, that's not the case.
I hear you. Hey, Jason, thank you so much.
All right, how about Ryan Kerrigan? Read this signed by a fan. All I want for Christmas is to meet Ryan Kerrigan. Ryan Kerrigan, of course, goes over there. Makes thing of the Coca-Cola Mean Joe Green commercial. Now watch this young man's reaction. He's crying. He just met his hero. That's all. That's a memory that will last a lifetime and was made on Christmas Eve. That's great.
Coming up on a holiday edition of the NFL Today, LaShawn McCoy has been dashing through the snow to get on Santa's nice list, and he's hoping to deliver playoff joy to Buffalo and its fans. A December chill is in the air, but it hasn't stopped Blake Bortles and Jimmy Garoppolo from lighting up NFL secondaries all month long.
Garoppolo pointing to the end zone.
The NFC playoff picture is still cloudy, but things could clear up a bit today as two contenders face off and another gets some help from their returning star. Find out who the guys think will be in for a Merry Christmas and who might get cold in their stockings. The NFL Today returns.
Can you guys like
NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
When you hear Domino's, you think pizza. But we're more than that. We're mouth-watering bread twists, oven-baked sandwiches, pastas, chicken, and pizza. Just $5.99 each when you order 2 or more. We didn't stop at pizza, and you don't have to either.
Hurry in for Macy's Super Saturday. Get last-minute gifts for everyone on your list. And save 50 to 75% throughout the store. Or give a Macy's gift card, the gift that always fits. The perfect people together.
Is the reason for transparency.
Alright, are you gonna film me?
Only Tylenol Rapid Release Gels have laser drilled holes. They release medicine fast for fast pain relief. Tylenol.
Alright, what's that? Go away.
Hey! Yeah! I switched to Geico and got more! More savings on car insurance!
46.
They help with homeowners too! Okay. Plus, motorcycle, boat, and RV insurance! Geico's got you covered! Yeah. Like a blanket!
Houston, you seeing this?
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
If you're going to be out partying tonight, you know who's going to be driving you home? Think before you drink and make sure there's a designated driver to get everyone home safe. CBS cares.
CBS is on a roll.
We've got the #1 show. The #1 new comedy. The #1 news program. And now we're #1 in late night. Thanks for choosing CBS, America's most watched network.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cousins from the Washington Redskins, and I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
I'm Jamal Adams with the New York Jets, and I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
I'm C.J. Anderson, running back of the Denver Broncos. I just want to wish you guys all out there Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Players on a festive mood and sharing their holiday wishes. Meanwhile, Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has been historically good in December, but he did have a little hiccup in this game this December as he gets ready for the Bills. Two other quarterbacks who are having a lot of success this month, they'll square off this afternoon, and they are the subject of this week's edition of the NFL Team Today.
Touchdown pass by Bortles at a monster game. Touchdown Jacksonville. Was that ball not on the money? 75-yard touchdown from Blake Bortles, and he just got way on score. Get on the dime. Holy taking care of the football. The Jacksonville Jaguars want to head into these playoffs.
Outcomes Jimmy Garoppolo.
Touchdown 49ers! Jimmy Garoppolo makes it look easy.
Garoppolo pointing to the end zone. Throws caught. Touchdown! Jimmy G in control.
There's a terrific throw by Garoppolo.
They're hoping it's the beginning of a long run with Garoppolo as their starting quarterback.
And it surely has been a December to remember for both Bortles and Garoppolo. Blake has turned up his play and helped lead the Jags into the playoffs for the first time in 10 years, while Jimmy G has started and sparked the Niners to 3 straight wins. And that leads us to Who Are You Legend, presented by McDonald's new, Chelino says, McCafe Espresso, Coach and Phil with more.
Yeah, Jimmy, you talk about Blake Bortles the first 3 months, Phil, a lot of inconsistency. But what have you seen this has been encouraging to you?
Tremendous transformation. That's what I've seen. Confidence and aggression. Very impressive in his decision. And just watch how accurate he is throwing the football. Easy to pick out these plays. He drops back. You got a crosser. Keelan Cole. Look, he finds the window, drops his arm down, and the big thing, he hits him in stride to get extra yards after the catch. That's what you notice in all these last 3 games, especially. Here's another play. Blake Bortles looks down the middle, doesn't like it, looks to his left, nobody open, moves in the pocket, and then once again, Jaden Mickens across the middle, one. Very tight window, accurate throw. And here we go, what's the throw to number 85 in the slot? He gets double teamed, so when he holds on to the football, safety comes up, and what does he do? He finds Keelan Cole in the back of the end zone, right on target, once again, while he was taking a very big hit. Now I got a quiz for you. Here we go, Coach.
Yeah.
Look at last week, 186 yards. What he did, terrific stuff. Rookie. What college did Keelan Cole go to?
Clemson?
Clemson. No, you got to know these things.
I don't know these.
Kentucky Wesleyan.
Kentucky Wesleyan.
Now the bad thing about this is, I grew up in Kentucky, and I didn't know they played football in Kentucky Wesleyan. That bad.
Well, listen, you're talking about that side of the ball, but the other side of the ball, you're talking about defense that has been suffocated. You're talking about #1 in sacks, #1 in points allowed, #2 in takeaways. You watch it right here, not even Ngakwe. You're going to see right here the ability to stay in a good motor. You can see right now, he's got 6 forced fumbles on the year, leads the National Football League, tight coverage on the back end. Calais Campbell picks this up, and they score on the defensive side of the ball. You're talking about playing bump, and they play off. You're talking about 2 of the best corners in the league, Jalen Ramsey, A.J. Boye, Barry Church is back there. You can see right now the pressure they can put in the middle, the ability to get the long arms right here of Jalen Ramsey. This is against Antonio Brown earlier this season. You can see him get the ball hand in there, knocks it out. They don't just take the ball away, they score with it. You're talking about a special defense that has got this team to this point, a good running game, and now they've got the play of that quarterback. This is going to be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
You know, that whole defense, you can talk about any part you want. Just think about their linebackers, Telvin Smith, Miles Jack, and then Paul Preslesley. They might be the fastest group of linebackers in the NFL.
It's a fast defense, no doubt. We're talking about the one against a quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, who let's not talk a little bit more about. Let's go to JB, Boomer, and Nate.
All right, Coach, and it looks like the 49ers may have found their quarterback of the future.
You think it might be the heist of the year when you think about what it took to get him a second-round draft choice from the Patriots. Here's the thing, I was telling Nate, you take a look at some of these numbers. He's 5-0 as a starter. Obviously, 2 of those are with the Patriots. 13 out of their last 16 possessions they have scored on. Ooh. But I will say today, as Coach and Phil just pointed out about the defense that they're playing, this is going to be a real test for this young man. He is definitely the future. There's no question about it. He's brought a stability there. He's brought a confidence there. His teammates basically have just been talking about how enamored they are with the way that he carries himself and the way that he prepares for the next team.
That's right. You mentioned stability, and that's just it. Kyle Shanahan and this offense. You can work on everything else when you have the foundation. He's going to be the foundation of the future, but let's not get too excited. Time will tell. There's other quarterbacks that have left that nest underneath Tom Brady, Matt Castle, Brian Hoyer, and Mallett. They've had up and down career. Brissett, of course, with the Colts, he's played well. But right now is the time for them to kind of solidify their quarterback, which is this young quarterback, Jimmy G.
The team's reaction to this kid has been what you guys like to see. That's perfect. All right, hey, don't forget that you can see our guy, the game show host, Nate, on Good Morning Football weekday mornings on NFL Network. And a reminder, a special Christmas Day edition of football that comes your way tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern, with an AFC matchup between the North Division champion Steelers and the Texans.
And there's the GOAT right there, Tom Brady. Listen, Jay-Z said 30 is the new 20. I say 40 is the new MVP. He leads the league in yards and also completions.
I'm sorry to bother you, but my car broke down, and I really appreciate a ride to stay there.
Yes!
But no, I have to stay here and wait for the package. I thought anybody who worked for me would have FedEx delivery manager. That way you can sign for your packages remotely and even customize your delivery time. Excuse me, sir. Could you take me to the stadium?
Sure, I beg.
Thank you.
Hope you like jazz fusion. Scored up what?
Sorry. Customize your deliveries with FedEx Delivery Manager.
Let's get the wall of the candy.
Well, you know, wrapping paper doesn't make the holidays. It's what's inside that candy.
It's the phone from up.
Okay, well, it's also what's inside the candy.
Circuits?
No, the network.
So the network is inside the phone?
Well, no, the network's around the phone. Verizon is the most important network ever. That's why more people count on it. There you go.
A gift is only as good as the network it's on. So get any Google Pixel 2 and get $300 off with no trade-in required.
When one of you join the Alliance, the battle begins. Build the greatest fortress. Command the fiercest army. And summon the mightiest of allies. What are you waiting for? Join the adventure. Final Fantasy 15, A New Empire. Download and play now. Free from the App Store.
What is love? Love is when this calls me. Love is being awakened by a kiss. Love is finding calm in a partner's arms. Love is intimate. Love is everlasting. Love is a diamond. If there's one thing I know, it's couples in love. From the runway to the wedding hall, the most romantic day of their lives, I'm there. Each piece of my jewelry collection is designed Lovers in Mind. The Vera Wang Love Collection at sales, the Diamond Store.
You knew the risks when you decided to drive somewhere. There could be a crash. People could get hurt or killed. You could get arrested. But one thing's for sure, you were wrong. You said it was going to be.
This cheeseburger and shake for $3.99 might be the best deal ever.
Next time I'm back.
Okay, let's shake on it.
TJ's handshakes regarding real ice cream shakes and cheeseburgers are void. Pete is wearing a sweater and a plaid shirt.
Oh man, get a cheeseburger and a small hand-mixed shake for just $3.99. This is how you sign it.
You heard that?
We don't know how many enemy language.
Bad guys know there's some comments. Let's go.
Probably make an entrance.
No thank you. We're missing the other.
I'm gonna take you on.
Secure. Jackpot. Wednesday is a special time.
Time now to go inside the pregame HP delivered by Domino's. And we're back in your Week 13 matchup. Gronkowski uncharacteristically leveling a vicious hit on a defenseless Tre'Davious White. Bills rookie cornerback, put into concussion protocol as a result, while Brock was suspended for just 1 game.
You know, I mean, according to Tre'Davious White, he has not received an apology from Rob Gronkowski, as you see right there on the right. But Tre'Davious White has had a tremendous season, a great secondary for the Buffalo Bills. One of the reasons why, you know, you got to wonder whether or not they can hold down Gronkowski in this particular game.
All right, boom, and there's LaShawn McCoy getting ready for his AFC East showdown with the Patriots today. The Bills, all-purpose backs, having another outstanding year, adding to what has already become a pretty impressive resume.
They give it to Shady, driving up the middle, inside the 30, and there it is, 10,000 yards plus for Shady.
It's an honor to reach 10,000 yards. I think the whole way through I had great linemen.
Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Guys that made it in front of me. I've looked up to Barry Sanders for years. And that's a guy I try to pattern my game like. I remember when he retired, I cried to my mom, like, Mom, Barry's retiring. She's like, Barry? You know, and she found out who he was. And just, hey, I'm gonna keep going, man, and 10,000 is cool. You know, my goal was to get to 12,000 yards. And that's what I'm gonna do.
I've never seen a game with worse conditions in Buffalo than the one they're about to play.
Just playing in the snow is so fun. I can't really tell you why I do well in the snow. It's just something that just happens.
McCoy into the end zone, and Buffalo wins it.
Here and there, I'll slip a little bit, but majority of the time, I'm just cutting on the thigh and running. I'm using my same shape moves as if the ground was clear. I always loved the snow growing up, and I always play in the snow. We get school cancer. You know, I'll be out there playing football with the guys. So just something I've loved to do since I've been a kid. But it's not one thing I can really put my finger on and say why I can run in the snow. I just love to do it. Just giving back to the community, giving back to the kids, it's very important to me because to have two parents that are excellent for me.
Where are you guys about to go?
When I was in high school, my mom, she was not famous.
We're gonna see Dave's dog. We'll be right back. Dave's gonna do dog.
On the kids' faces. That was kind of the experience that I got that let me know that
Dad has it on his phone.
Football is so important to me.
Show Jay's picture.
Playoffs, got a big week. But just to be honest, I think every team that plays the Patriots, it's a big week for them. I love to play on guys because it's one of them games where it's a big time game. You gotta pick your game up. Beating Tom Brady is not easy at all. So we'll have our hands full, and it's a division game, so they're always tough. And this is a big game because of the playoffs. We gotta take care of business. We gotta go to New England and get a win. Simple as that.
Well, no doubt it's a big game for McCoy and the Bills, who are now on the outside looking in at the playoff picture. The Chargers still in play, as are the Raiders and the Dolphins.
We'll be back.
They need a lot of help. They're all chasing the squads at the top of the conference: New England, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville.
You know, I think you're looking New England and Pittsburgh. You got to avoid that emotional letdown. Talking about the game of the year last year, and then you're talking about Buffalo coming in last week. Buffalo coming in, it's a divisional opponent right here. The guy sacked 3 times last time against Buffalo, only 1 interception. Gronkowski had a huge game last week, will be another big one this week. And then Pittsburgh's going to be playing this week without Antonio Brown for the first time, going down to Houston tomorrow on Christmas Day. You've got to avoid that letdown of that next game because Jacksonville was just waiting for an opportunity to jump into that first or second seed.
Yeah, they're waiting. And I'll tell you, they're playing some really good football. Their offensive line as the year has gone along. Jacksonville, it's gotten much better. What a shot. Doug Marrone, an ex-offensive lineman, player and a coach. But Jacksonville, what really has caught my attention is the way they're playing. In other words, more formations, more plays for Blake Bortles, more diverse. And why are they doing this? Well, they're thinking about the playoffs. Because when it gets to the playoffs, sooner or later, Jacksonville, as good as they are in defense, as good as they run the football, you're going to have to throw it to win, and they're doing a great job with Blake Bortles.
And Phil, you know this all too well. NFC South rivals Atlanta and New Orleans. They clashed a big showdown with a playoff berth on the line. Another South team, Carolina, they're in with a win. Dallas and Seattle face off today, along with Detroit. They're still in the mix. The Cowboys get a boost with the return of Ezekiel Elliott from suspension. So the question is, how do you think it all playing out?
Well, I know one thing. All those 8-6 teams, the Cowboys, Seahawks, and Lions, are hoping that the Atlanta Falcons lose today at New Orleans. The winner of that game will get into the playoffs, and if Carolina wins, they will be in the playoffs. So really, the only chance that those teams have is if the Falcons lose today in New Orleans. And the Falcons are playing some of their best football, but as as long as Alvin Kamara is back on the field for the New Orleans Saints, I love their chances today against the Falcons.
Yeah, I have my eyes on the Seahawks and Cowboys game. You know, even though the Seahawks seem to be getting weaker and weaker, they're going to have something to play for. But as they get weaker, Cowboys get stronger. Ezekiel Elliott back on the field, and it's not a concern if he's going to be in great shape. He will be in great shape. It's more about how high will he get, because he's been on the sideline, been on vacation, been working out. Going to have to calm him down a little bit, but still a 20% chance of these guys getting in. They're going to need some help from some other teams going into today's game.
All right, hey, Nathan, we'll keep the conversation going here, but with kickoff just about a half hour away, time now to set the scene at your game as we take you out first on the field. The latest news and updates on your matchup.
JB, thank you. Gray skies here, upper 30s, but it is dry as the Patriots been on the road a bunch here lately. This is their second home game, Tony, since October. They come back home, and right now they're in the first position in the AFC playoff. Chase.
Yeah, we know they're comfortable here at this stadium, and everyone's chasing these guys. They're the #1 seed. They've been that way for about 15 years, it feels like, and it starts with Bill Belichick, who's just probably the most outstanding coach in the National Football League, along with that guy, Tom Brady.
Yeah, probably on his way to another MVP award.
We're looking at probably the greatest quarterback of all time. And he showed last week, came down, engineered the big comeback. And I'll tell you, to beat Tom Brady, you got to keep him off balance. You got to play the game defensively through his eyes. And I think Sean McDermott is a coach who kind of likes to do that. So it'll be a good cat and mouse game today.
Tony, this will be a matchup to watch. Tre'Davious White, Rob Gronkowski. We were there 3 weeks ago when Gronkowski, with the flying elbow to the back of the head of White, who had just picked off Brady, concussed the defensive back, the rookie. Gronkowski was suspended for a game, and now they're on the field again together today.
Yeah, there's no place for that in our league, and I'm telling you, Rob knows he got let his emotions get the best of him throughout that. He's trying to put that behind him and move on. That's going to be a great matchup that we're going to follow today.
And there's the first-year head coach for the Bills, Sean McDermott, trying to find a way to get his team into the playoffs. It's been 17 years since the last time the Bills were in there. And if they're going to execute this big upset today, Tyrod Taylor's going to have to step up.
He is going to have to step up, and I can tell you right now, there's all the talk since Taylor's been the quarterback for this football team that they need an upgrade. They need this, and what they need is a big win out of him, and if they do, he can solidify himself for next year.
And if they do somehow pull this off today, you know McCoy would have to be a big part of it as well.
You're exactly right. It's got to go through Sean McCoy. He's the engine of this offense. He's got to have a big game today.
So, it's Buffalo and New England. It's coming up later. The NFL Today continues in a moment.
The sum above difference is the silver lining. Order Jersey Mike's for your game day party, and rest assured that even if your team doesn't win, your mouth does. Victory is all yours. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Are you gonna go one way and not way? Just on let's go.
Listen.
I'm a shepherd for you, and I'll guide you through. Hi, everlasting light.
I saw the change in Rich when we moved into the new house, but having his parents over was enlightening.
You don't like my lasagna?
No, it's good.
Hello? Low on it?
You see it, right?
So I'm trapped in here. I'm telling you, it's so easy to get home insurance on Progressive.com.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto.
The sum above difference is zero. Sure, zero gets a